Paul Church from Clarity Craft here in the UK. Welcome to another episode of Groovi Tuesday. I shall do my usual waffling whilst everyone pulls up a chair and finds a seat, gets comfortable. Hope everybody's well this morning. The lovely Sue will be in the room with you, and no doubt some of our fantastic design team as well. Have lots to share with you this week. I wonder who's going to be first to appear in my chat session. There we go, the lovely Mo. Good morning, Mo. Welcome back. I'm very well. Yes, we didn't have any Groovi Tuesday last week. This time last week we were full swing at our parchment retreat in Tunbridge Wells. Good morning, Karin, the lovely Glynis. Sue will be joining us very shortly, no doubt. Here we go. Here comes everybody. Chat, chat, chat. All of a sudden, everybody comes into the room at the same time. So hopefully you can hear me nice and clearly. I'm sure Sue will let me know. Just new phone. Yes. So there we go. Jane's in the room. Lovely Ken's in the room. So yeah, all good. Thank you, Sue. There we go. Josie's in the room as well. Very wet northeast Derbyshire. Yes, Josie, I saw the news the other day about the flooding in your neck of the woods the other day, and how the road had just been sort of swept away and all the tarmac was everywhere. Terrible, terrible. So I hope everybody's safe and dry and haven't been affected too badly by all this horrible rain. I know Scotland's had it bad, didn't they? They had it bad of a couple of days, then it sort of stopped and then it came back again. Yeah, I mean, it was torrential rain this morning, but touch wood at the moment, it's nice and dry. So let's have our usual weather roundup, shall we, from around the world, because I know we have some viewers from abroad as well. So it's wet with Glynis, Sussex. What's it like in Sussex, Karen? I bet it's probably wet and grey and overcast. I think the sun's trying to come out. But yeah, it's raining with Jane. So I think it's on the cards for everybody, unfortunately, isn't it? But it's not cold. It's beautiful in Crawley, but cold. Okay. I didn't think it was too cold today. Maybe because of the rain, I don't know. So I've got my trusty mug of coffee with me today. So for those of you that are regular tuner-inners, we're on the final chapter of this fantastic book written by the lovely Linda Williams. This is the Handbook for Multi-Needle Tools, Volume 2. We're on the last chapter. I've got something nice lined up for the next couple of weeks, all tool related. And it was something that the lovely Shari Levy reminded me of when we were at the Parchment Retreat last week. But we'll come to that a little bit later, because there's so much information out there that we supply, whether it be through Barbara's blogs, through the Clarity Matters blogs, through our YouTube channel, but also on both our Clarity Stamp or our Clarity Crafts website, and also on the Pergamano website as well. And there's loads of sort of different information out there. But as I say, we'll come to that a little bit later. So do we have any newbies in the room this week? Following on from our craft along on Friday evening, I really enjoyed that, getting to grips with those lovely plates from Linda Williams. And if you stay tuned today, I've got a sneaky peek of what's coming up on the next new and exclusive release from Linda Williams. Do I have a favourite yet? Oh, it's really hard. I know I say this every time. But when you see the artwork, you think, could this one be it? Could that one be it? I don't know. So we're about to release set 5 from out of 6. So yeah, so maybe if everybody's good and behaves in the room today, we'll have a little sneaky peek of what's coming up. For those of you that tuned into the Shack yesterday, Barb gave an update of what's coming up TV-wise on the week ahead, and also another episode of The Shack on a Thursday evening starting on the 2nd of November. So make sure you sign up to our emails and you'll be kept fully up to date on that as well. So should we just have a bit of a recap while people are getting comfortable? So we've been working through this book by Linda Williams, focusing on a series of multi-needle tools. And the tools we've been looking at here have got sort of like between 6 and 12 different needles in them. So you've got a lovely introduction from Linda. And if I jump to the first one where it all started, just to explain the layout if you are tuning in for the first time, you have a lovely finished sampler that Linda has created, together with a sampler guide, which shows you where to perforate, where to emboss, and where to cut. And it's amazing some of the things that you can do with the various multi-needle tools. And I've definitely learned a lot, because I'd forgotten about the book when we first released it. And you know, it's like it gets pushed to one side, doesn't it? So it's been great to revisit this, and we're up to part 10 now. So if you've recently invested in the book or you've got it in the cupboard, then get it out and you can go back on our YouTube channel and watch episodes part 1 all the way through to part 10 to catch up if you choose to. So each of them have, as I say, a lovely finished sampler, a beautiful embossing, perforating guide as well. Then there's a brief explanation about the particular tool in use, and then you have this pattern, and it's the pattern that you need to photocopy in order to practice. And that's what we've been doing over these past 10 weeks. Okay. So Glynis says, these 2 books live next to my printer all the time. I bet they do, because the lovely Glynis, what she's been doing is she's been creating 2 lovely little projects, which are being showcased on the Clarity Matters blog after we do our Groovi Tuesday. So we can go through. So we've got the Pico V large, we've got the Pico V medium, then we had a look at the angle tool. Then what was after the angle tool? The cross tool. This was one of my favorites. You've got the lovely, show you how you can do the embossing in between all the different elements. Then we moved into the 4-in-4 tool. Look at that star. And when you look, you see different things, or you see faces, or in Mo's case, little aliens. But yeah, have a look at them, really study them. And sometimes it's not until you sort of start playing that you can actually see different things in them. Okay, so what was after the heart and almond? We then had the moon tool. This is nice. I love the windmills and the little butterflies. And then after the moon tool came the semi-square. I think this was the last one we looked at before we had a little break for the parchment retreat. Let's have a look. Is this the final one? The star point. Yes, so this is the one we're going to concentrate on today. Again, so many different uses depending on the angle in which you perforate, where you do your embossing. I quite like this design here. I love that aperture effect within the middle. It looked lovely in a bookmark, or just take a single section and use that. These are quite pretty as well. And this one. So you've got your finished sampler image to refer to, and don't forget you've got all of these lovely edges around the outside. Okay, then we've got our perforating, embossing and picot cutting guide. Then we have here we go. So Linda says, I'll read it out. I'm not going to read all of it. This is my baby. It was the first tool I ever designed. I'm very proud of this tool. I think it's a little bit different. So what we need to do, we need to photocopy actual size, the pattern on page 53. Okay, so that's what we're going to work on. So let's make a list of what we're going to need to get going. So I'm going to put the book to one side. So I've got my printed pattern. Okay, I've got several of those actually. Then we are going to need our super foam. So I've got the white A4 super foam. Then we're going to need our Pico foam as well. We're going to need our Groovi tools, number 1, 2, 3, and 4. We need our tool in question, which, okay, looks like that. I will zoom in a little bit. Let me have a look at this camera. Where am I going? No, better on the overhead camera. Come on, Paul, you was only here on Friday night. Sort it out. There we go. So this is the tool that we're looking at. Then we're going to need some parchment, like so. We need a couple of tumble dry sheets. We need some groovy tabs, and we need our groovy guard. Now, in addition to that, we may also need our 1 needle fine and our 1 needle bold. Okay, so that's what we need to get started. So it's the same as we've been using every week. The only thing that really changes is the tool in question. Okay, so how are we all doing today? Everybody good? Everybody nice and dry? There we go, look. Sue's put the list up. Lovely. It's not the moon tool, Sue. We need the star point tool. There we go. We've done our mooning already a couple of weeks back. Right. Excuse me. So yeah, so it's all systems go here at Clarity Towers, getting ready for the upcoming TV show. So while we're just gathering our bits, just a reminder. So today's Tuesday. Then on Thursday morning, nice and early, Barb and I will head up to the TV studios. So we've got 4 hours on Thursday and 3 hours on Friday. So it kicks off at 3 o'clock with Barb in the shack with Clarity. It's all on Create and Craft. So that's 3 till 4. Then at 4 o'clock, we've got the launch of the brand new and exclusive from Linda Williams. Then we have a little bit of a breather. Then at 7 o'clock, Barb's back on with the second hour of the Shack Show. And then I've got the second hour of the new and exclusive at 8 p.m. Then clear all that way. And then we set up ready for the following day. So at 8 o'clock, I've got the final hour of the new and exclusive at 8 a.m. And then Barb's got a brand new show at 9 o'clock and at 1 o'clock. So it's, yeah, all systems go for that. So I'm looking forward to those shows. Right, okay. Are we ready to get started? I think we have. I bet you've already got all your bits and pieces together and you're just listening to me to waffle. Okay, so what we're going to do first, what's the first thing we need to do? We're going to take our parchment and we're going to wipe with our tumble dry sheet on both sides. Okay, so I'm just doing this on my black mat. Okay, give it a nice wipe. Then we're going to use our Pico foam. On top of our Pico foam, we are going to add our tumble dry sheet, like so. It's like creating a little sandwich, isn't it? Our tumble dry sheet. Then we're going to take our pattern and lay that on top. Then we're going to take our parchment, lay that on top, and we're going to secure that with our Groovi tabs, just like so. Okay. Then I'm going to get my Groovi guard ready and I'm going to get my tool ready. Now, before we use the tool, I'm going to bring in my super foam and another tumble dry sheet. I'm going to fold it up into a square, small square, like so. And then what we're going to do is perforate. So how many needles have we got on this one? We've got 1, hang on, where's my glasses? Glasses are useful if you wear them, just like so. Okay, that's better. So we've got 1, hang on, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. We've got 7 tools on this one. I could have counted the dots. I know someone said this last week, count the dots on the paper. I could have done that, but I like to make it difficult for myself. So what we're going to do is lubricate the needles by perforating a tumble dry sheet. Okay, so let's pop that to one side. I'm going to zoom in now so we can really have a look. I'm going to zoom in from above, and then I'm going to come in on the second camera as well, so we can see from the side as well. Whee, that was really close. Let me pop those to one side, and let's make sure I've got this camera. Yeah, so what we're going to do, I'm going to have a look at this one here. So I'm going to bring this over. Okay, and we're going to focus on this one. I think this is a really lovely design. Now, I wonder whether Glynis has used it in her artwork. I mean, I know she's used the tool, but I wonder whether, no. I'll show you what Glynis has been up to with this particular tool. Okay, so when we look at the multi-needle tool on this one, okay, there's 3 long needles, and it's at each of the, it's like a triangle. Okay, so the triangle, each of those points has got the longest needle in them, so it's great for positioning your tool. So do I go from the back and come in, or do I go from the base and work out? Okay, so let's have a look. I'm going to try from the back first. I'm going to bring that in, and then I'm going to hold the tool upright. Okay, and then I'm going to perforate. So that's the first one. Now I'm going to move along down to the next one, like so. And once I'm happy that all the needles are in the right position, I'll then perforate. Okay. So I'm just slowly working my way down the design, like so. Yeah. Sometimes you look at all these lovely little dots that Linda's created for us and you think, am I in the right place? Well, I'm definitely in the right place in Groovi Tuesday. Let me try it this way. Actually, I find that one's better. So what I'm doing, I'm taking the 2 base needles, or the bottom needles, I'm positioning those, bringing it upright, and then perforating. Okay. And how far am I going to go? I'm going to stop about here. I'm not going to do all of the pattern. Okay, so use the 2 back needles. Yeah, I definitely prefer that way. How does everybody else at home do it? So they use the 2 bottom needles, or do they use the top needle? I reckon about there. Yeah, I think this is working well. I'm going to come over to this side. Now this one is relocating back into the hole we've just come out of, like so. That was a little bit off center. And we're going to work our way back up the line. Come on. Glasses don't seem to be focusing today. That goes over there. See, glasses aren't focusing, or my eyes are not focusing. Okay, so there we go. Just like so. Okay, and once you get into that rhythm, it doesn't take long to build up the pattern. And because Linda has kindly done all the work for us, it makes it so much easier, and it's a great way of practicing. So let me try coming this way down. So I've turned the tool upside down, so to speak. Yes, that's better. So you get it right in the end. You'll find what works best for you in relation to positioning of the tool. You may find doing it with the tip of the point towards you, or the bottom. Actually, this is the best way for me. See? So I've tried 3 different ways so far, and the third time lucky. It's always the way, isn't it? So, who's had a go with this tool yet? Anybody had a play and created a piece of artwork using it? Because I bet, like many of us, we bought the book when it first came out, and then it just sat in the cupboard, didn't it? Or did you actually get it out and work through it? Go on, you can confess. You don't have to go and sit on the naughty step. There's no naughty step in the Groovi Tuesday. Okay, and we're just relocating now. As we start to build up, it's relocating back into the pattern to build up our design. Hang on. That one's over there. That one's there. Definitely need to get these glasses checked out. Either that or give them a good clean. Okay. So I think just for completion, I know I said I was going to stop there. Just for completion, I'm going to do this bottom one just here. Turn it around. Relocate. And perfect. Okay, should we have a look at what this one looks like? So we've done half. So it just shows, I mean, this is great for extending. It's great for doing, see, I love this little part just here, which is singular, but it looks different to that one because the tool's been held at a different angle. So if I take my black piece of card, I did have it here earlier. Come on, Mr. Card, where are you? So I tried to get so organised, and then I've misplaced it. Let me just find it. Here we go. Okay, let's have a look. So I put the piece of card underneath. So you just perforated. You can see that okay, can't we? Just perforated it. Looks lovely. Don't need to do anything else if you don't want to. But I love what Linda has created on her sample piece. Let me just bring it in to show you. Just bring this in. So look, have those lovely apertures within the inside. Now I wonder what it would look like if we perforated a different area. So we may give that a go and see what we come up with. But look, just these lovely little patterns. It really does. I know I sort of sit here and I say, oh, it sort of really blows my mind at what it can do. But it does. I mean, I remember back in the day when we first bought Pergamano, and Barb and I was up in her studio, and we had this bag of tools, and we were working for it because we was looking at the end saying, oh, what does this one do? What does that one do? And we were just stabbing parchment basically just to see what they did. And we never thought, well, I didn't anyway, personally at the time, I never thought at the time that a tool with various multi-needles in them would be able to create beautiful artwork. Because at that point, I was fairly new to it. We were just making all these patterns of, well, we were stabbing the parchment to see what it looked like, and to me it didn't mean anything. It was just a piece of parchment with loads of perforations in it. But yeah, how times change, how we grow and develop. And I think that's one of the great things with parchment art, is that with the aid of a Groovi plate, you can easily achieve artwork. Okay, it really is. There's no skill required for that part at all. Then gaining that confidence and wanting to build up those skill levels, if you choose to, whether you want to go on and do the colouring, whether you want to go on and do the embossing and white work, whether you want to introduce multi-needle tools. And sometimes there's varying crafts that you'll take up and you've got to go from A to Z in order to get the finished effect. But with the parchment art, you can just go A, job's done. But you won't, you'll go to B, job's done, etc., etc. So for me, that's one of the things I find about parchment art, the versatility of it, especially from when I tried it traditionally back in the day. And it was really, I struggled because of wanting it to happen quickly, being too heavy-handed, being impatient. All of those things built up and then sort of really sort of put me off from doing it. So it's great to see how myself personally have developed over the years, with help and assistance with great friends in the room as well. Linda Williams, Josie, Glynis, Jane, all of the design team. We always learn. The lovely Tina. And it's a great sort of community get together, isn't it? Sort of just bringing it all together and sharing ideas, especially with the use of social media now, which wasn't back in the day, wasn't that much out there, was it? So, okay. So where are we going now? Glasses back on. So I've done that one there. So I reckon I want to give, which one should I give a go to next? See, I quite like the edge, because if you look at this one here, for example, when you look, you can see how that one's been created because it's the same size as the tool itself. But then when you look at this one, it's a bigger zigzag. Okay. So just by using the tool side by side and just going back in and realigning, and come back in on this one. Let's move that out of the way. I'm not going to, actually I will perforate. Right, let me come round this way. Okay, so if I take let's do it this one. I'm going to do this row here. So, like so. Now what I'm going to do, I'm going to use the narrow part of the Groovi guard to focus my area. Okay, and if I do this single row here, so all we're doing, like how we would perforate with a 2-needle tool and we go back into the last hole. So this is a great way of creating just a lovely border of perforations. Okay, so that's using the tool very simply in a straight line, one after the other. Now when we have a look at this one, okay, it's where we have to turn the tool. So if I go this way, I'm going to go like so. There we go. So at this point, the top of the triangle or the star point is towards me. Then I'm going to lift up and I'm going to turn round so the bottom of the star tool is nearest to me. Okay, like so. So all we're doing is we're just alternating the tool top and bottom. And what that's going to do is it's going to give us especially if you line it up, that larger zigzag. Okay, so side by side, but then turning the tool top, bottom, gives us a larger zigzag. And then Linda's even shown us how we can go around the corner with the top and bottom, but also how to go around the corner on a single, so you'll get a different look as well. Okay. So if we have a look at these two lovely pieces that Kalinis has created for the upcoming blog on Sunday. So let me turn this around so I can refocus the camera like so. So I'm just going to zoom out now, doing my groovy exercises. I'm going to stretch and adjust the camera. Okay, so Jenny has just done a Christmas card using the star point border in a class this morning. Excellent. So these two pieces here is what will be showcased on the upcoming Sunday blog over on Clarity Matters. Jane's Agapanthus. Absolutely love this design. So Glynis has taken that tag frame. She's gone all the way around the outside. And then she's taken those little windows and created apertures, just like on the sampler. And then this one, this is Barb's Funky Houses. Same tool around the outside. That's been embossed on the inside, and this one has been embossed with a line. So all of these patterns are on within the book that Linda's provided for us. Not provided, put together for us. And then I think this works perfectly as stars in the sky. Isn't that fantastic? Love these. So you can go back on the Clarity Matters blog and look at all the previous projects that Glynis has created to accompany this second handbook. And maybe you've incorporated some of them. I mean, Jenny said that she's just used the star point as a border on one of her Christmas cards. So it's great to sometimes just have a reference. Maybe you'll go through your tool bag and think, oh, I've got this tool here. What can we do with this? Go back and look on the Clarity Matters blog, and you may get an idea of what you could do with it. Even if you haven't got the book, Glynis is there. I mean, the book helps because you've got the patterns to practice with. And at the end of this 10-week session, you should have all your sampler bits all together that you can go back to and refer as and when you want to. So maybe put them inside the book, entirely up to you, because then you could look at it and go, where did I go wrong on this? Or what do I need to change when I was working with that one that I didn't get it right? Or I got it right, but what else can I do with it? Have a play. Take a piece of parchment, make up your own patterns. So, because what Linda's done, she's just touched very briefly on the tools themselves. I'm sure there's probably another 2 or 3 books in each of the different combinations of the tools. Excuse me. Right, okay. Decisions now. What do we want to do? I want to do, I don't know. What should we do? I'm going to go for this little one. And then once we've perforated this one, if you're all being good, which I'm sure you are, because I'm sure I'd get reports from Sue if you're misbehaving. Maybe have a sneaky peek of the new exclusive coming up on Thursday. Okay, so let's have a look. So we're going to come in on this camera. So we're going to have, right, so this one's quite close together. Okay, so I'm going to take my multi-needle tool and I'm laying that in place like so. Then I'm bringing the tool up, and if I'm happy, I'm then perforating. Okay, because you don't have to perforate once, you just need to get those tools in position. Okay, then I'm going to turn my work like so. So I'm going from the back foot again, just like that. See, and there's so many options to choose from. Okay, going to go around this way. And go out, he says. There we go, like so. Then I'm going to come round on this one, like so. Now this one's quite interesting. Okay, so we've taken the perforations. Where's that black piece of card? Let me come in on the overhead so you can have a look at this. I need to zoom back in again now. Zooming in and out. Okay. Whee. Here we come. I thought the screen had gone blurry a bit as I was looking in the wrong part of my varifocals. Okay, so when we look at the pattern underneath, we've perforated around the outside, and that gives us that design. Okay, so you can see you've got, it's not in a straight row. This one stands out a little bit, this one stands out a little bit, all the way around. So now, if I go back in, let me see. So what we're going now, so what we're doing is top and tailing, but this one in the middle, we're going to perforate every single time we go round. Okay, so like that. I'm going to stay on the overhead for this particular one, because then I can show you what it looks like. I haven't got to refocus. Clever. Very clever. I wonder how long it took Linda to come up with all these different combinations. But I suppose this particular tool, if it was her first tool that Linda designed, then she obviously had the idea in her head of what she wanted it to do. So then we turn it around again, and we do the last one like so. Okay, so now when I put my piece of card, see, I love that. Let me hold it up. Whee. There we go. Look at that. See, when I look at the perforations on the overhead like this, for me, oh, just took my glass off, just need to refocus my eyes. To me, they're like diamonds and jewels. If I bring that piece of card in on that one as well, I mean, look at that. See, you could just do white work in that centerpiece, and to me, that would give that sort of like real sort of jeweled effect. Or maybe you know how to do that. Barb did it in the shack a while back in lockdown, how to create the faux gems. They would look lovely in the middle of that, wouldn't they? To give it, yeah, faux gems would be perfect within that area. Okay, let me have a slurp of my coffee, and then we'll have a look at the designs coming up. I mean, if you're familiar with our website, you have had a sneaky peek of the designs already on the website, on the banner. But to see them live is totally different. Okay, so what I'm going to do, I'm going to bring the plates in, and then we're going to have a look on the overhead. Right, so let's zoom out. So the latest collection is the Celtic, whoops, sorry, a little bit too fast. It's the Celtic collection from Linda Williams. Just take it all in. This is the Celtic harp, and has a lovely circular frame. I'm stating the obvious, I know. Okay, the harp and the little clover elements. Okay, so that's that one. Then we go square, so to speak. So this is the what we've called the Celtic waterfall. So you have this lovely scene that you can mix and match with all of your other plates. Okay, so that's the Celtic waterfall on this one. Okay, then the third one, like in the all of the loan collection, is our dotted cross stitch design, and this is the entwined heart. Okay, what do you think? I'm going to come back to some of these in a moment. I'm going to show you something special that Linda had a moment of clarity with. Okay, and then the fourth one is always a lovely companion plate, and this is the Irish Blessing. Beautiful corner bouquet of different flowers. You've got thistles, you've got daffodils, you've got the shamrocks, you've got the lovely sort of ribbon, and of course the lovely Irish Blessing. So let's have a look at some artwork from the design team. Let me just grab these in. Okay, so the first piece has been created by Linda herself. So we've got the lovely harp in there, and I mean, look at that. It looks really entwined, doesn't it, with the depth and the shadow of that white work. Okay, the next piece is from Jane Telford. This has been picot cut in the middle and in all of the rope, and then the lovely harp in the middle. Then we have a lovely piece by Josie Davidson. I know this is Josie because Josie does that lovely gold edge. Isn't it funny how you can change the colour of the design and they look different sizes? Because when I looked at the blue one, I thought, oh, that's smaller than, but it isn't, it's the same. Then we have a piece by Karen Jackson. Now what Karen's done, she's taken this lovely knotted circular frame and put the waterfall on the inside. I really want to open that gate and go for a walk. Then another piece from Josie. So those of you that tuned in on Friday, that lovely pointillism, the dotty effect on the colouring. So Josie's recreated that again on this particular scene. Let me bring it in on this one. There we go, look. You can see that. And I love the colours that Josie's used, that green and the orange. Then the next piece is from Linda herself. And this is the entwined heart. You just have to take it all in. You really do. Then changing the colour again, this one by Glynis. So what you'll notice on this one, obviously the colours are different. They've both been perforated within the middle. They're both using the same outer frame, but on this one, Glynis has filled in, and on that one, Linda's left empty to put a sentiment in. Okay, then we've got another piece here from, this one's from Carol Baker, combining the square frame with the dotted frame and the lovely entwined heart in the middle. Then we move on to the companion plate, the Irish Blessing. So this piece here by Linda. Love. It's just, it looks not necessarily Celtic, it looks very woven, doesn't it? That lovely effect. Then the next piece is from Karen Jackson again. We look at that picot cutting. Crazy. And then the final piece I want to show, I've got loads more to show you, but I have to tune into the TV. I love this one from Jane. It's the pattern building. So taking that ribbon to create a frame. Brilliant idea. Really, really brilliant. They all are. I mean, right. Okay, so let me show you something different. Now, I know many of you will have already invested in the Christmas, the countryside, the Oriental, and what was the last one we just did? We only did it the other night. Gone. It'll come to me. Goodness me, what was it? I can't remember what it was. We was only here Friday night, weren't we? No, gone. Anyway, so when you look at each of these frames, Tuscany, of course it was. We went to Tuscany, didn't we? When you look at all of these lovely frames, okay, on all of the plates, regardless of the collection that you have, okay, all of a sudden what I'm about to show you opens it up into a new spectrum. Spectrum, I think that's the right word. Okay. All of a sudden, those frames become wraps. Okay. So this one, if I position that on there, the outer frame now becomes a wrap. Okay. Combine it with that lovely companion plate. Now don't forget, you've got 4 other companion plates that you can do this with. You've got 3, 6, 9, 12. You've got 12 other frames that you can do this with. Look at the back. Look. So it's taking that circle and all of a sudden you've got a lovely wrap. It's just mind-blowing. And Linda's attached it in the traditional method by stitching down the spine. So there's this one that Linda's created. So this is the Celtic one. Merry Christmas. Okay. How about this one? This is using one of the dotted. So this is using the Celtic dotted one, using our lovely rainbow parchment. So when you look at them, don't think of them as a square or a circle or a rectangle or a border. All of a sudden now, it gives new meaning to them. Doesn't it? Crazy. Crazy, crazy, crazy. I know. Sometimes the obvious isn't obvious, is it? Until you see it. So it's all about playing. And even though Linda created these, it was only recently she had that moment of clarity to think, goodness me. Well, I'm sure she didn't say goodness me. I'm sure she did something in Welsh. But look, there are no words. There really are no words. Indulge. Take it all in. Get your brain matter whirring and look at the plates that you've already got from the previous collections, because you can do it with any of the previous ones. You really can. All of a sudden, has Linda done a 3D bow? What do you think, Jane? Yeah, 3D bow. No, if I hold that like that, there we go. Just like a butterfly. Stunning. Right, okay, enough teasing. Well, not teasing, you haven't got long to wait. Okay, so let's get back to our project. And where are we? We're over here. So what I want to do a bit of picot cutting in this area, because we haven't done much picot cutting when we've been looking at these particular plates. Okay, so what I'm going to do, I'm going to take my parchment off of my pattern, like so. And I'm going to stick with my Pico foam. Okay. Now, if I was at home, I'd be using my white super foam on my light panel, just because for me, it just makes it that little bit more easier. Okay. So scissors of choice, for those of you aware, we have 3 different types of scissors. We've got the exclusives, we've got the ring lock, and we've got the Perga cutters. So it's entirely up to you which ones you want to use. And I know at the recent parchment retreat, some of our guests, Barb Kalinis and Carol Baker, spent a couple of hours with some of our guests who wanted to perfect their Pico cutting, and they did it. They did. They some got it straight away, some a little longer, but that's all part of the process, isn't it? Took me about 6 months. So what I'm going to do now, I'm going to zoom in really close. I need to take these glasses off when I stand up. Okay. Whee, very close. So I want to try 2 different things on this one. Firstly, I want to Pico cut that middle part on the inside. Okay. So I'm going to use my scissors in what we call the spoon position. And I'm going to come in from underneath, like so. And I'm going to put, these should really warm up. That was rubbish. Okay. And this one's not going so well. This is going to look like someone's just chewed a hole in the middle. I should have practiced on the edge first, shouldn't I? There we go. It's coming now. Well, I think it is. See, sometimes you can have good days and you can have bad days. Today is a mixture when it comes to the Pico cutting. Definitely. This will be interesting to see what this mess looks like. But you know what? This is my practice piece, isn't it? So we're going to go along. All right, should we see what a mess this is? Oh, that's terrible. I don't like that at all. I definitely need to warm up on that piece. Doesn't look anything like Linda's piece. Okay, so what I also want to do, I want to try doing these little areas here. Let's see if I can get a better result from these little bits here. Okay. So, hand is warming up now, so to speak. So, just the tip of the scissors in. I'm just giving a little twist towards myself. Okay. I think this is looking better. He says. There's always one that wants to hold on and doesn't want to let go. Goodness me. There we go. I'm definitely happier with that one. Let's try a 3rd time lucky, shall we? Everything else has been 3rd time lucky today. Find the holes. Now what I could do to help is I could reperforate. So I could take the 1 needle fine and reperforate on thicker foam, because I reckon the 1 needle bold would be too close. Okay. But it's all about playing, and hopefully over the past 10 weeks we've looked at the different tools, and maybe you thought, oh, I didn't know you could do that. Or maybe you thought you're just enjoying the process and you're just sort of practicing before putting it into play. Because don't forget, you can always go back and look at the Clarity Matters blog that for the projects that Glynis has created. Okay. So I quite like that. So I like that. And maybe what you could do your faux gem in there. So you would do that first before you did your picot cutting. Okay. So I'm going to go on this one now. And I'm going to, let's do all of them at the same time. Okay. So we can multitask. Maybe I can't. Maybe it's just been, you know, sometimes you think, oh, just stop. But you know what? I'm learning that I should definitely have warmed up first. See, so that's a good thing, isn't it? Because it's definitely, I think it's definitely improving the more I snip. What do you reckon? So where I'm actually perforating, you can actually do white work on the inside of this. I missed that one. So it's all about, you could just colour. You could colour inside these as well. You don't even have to do white work. These make like lovely little gem type patterns. But he says, holding his breath. We're on the final snip now. Just like so. That's a top tip from Jane. Give the blades with a tumble dry sheet. Top tip from Jane. There we go. Oh, I like that. That's nice. That's pretty. Did Linda do that? I'm sure she did. I bet she did. Of course she did. Look, there we go. Just did it. I did it on this one. So this pattern here, or was it that one? Can't remember now. It was one of those I did to give me that. And then you could go back in if you wanted to and then reperforate with a bold needle to make those stand out. So all about sort of having those choices. So where are we going to head to the next couple of weeks? Well, as I mentioned earlier, the lovely one of our lovely customers at the Parchment Retreat last week, Sherry Levy, she's so in the groovy vibe and mode. And she reminded me of something that we did over on the Pergamano website. I say we, Linda Williams. And it was called Tool Focus with Linda Williams. Because a couple of years back, we reintroduced some of the tools that had been discontinued by Pergamano. And what I'm going to say is watch this space because something new's coming. Anyway, I'll tease you with that. And so Linda did these projects with 4 other tools. And if you go to, Sue has popped the link up, and it's called Tool Focus. Many of you may have already found them and already done them. But if I bring one of them in, for example, okay, let's have a look, and we'll have a look. So it focuses on 4 different tools. Let me just zoom out now. Okay, these are all free. All you need to do is download them. Okay, and for each of the 4 tools, there's 2 separate downloads. Okay, so you've got number 1 and number 2 for the semi-star. Okay, well, what it does, Linda gives you a little pattern of what you can do. Okay, and she goes, and then you've got the pattern sheet, just like you have in the book. Okay, so I thought this would be really good. This is where it's been enlarged, so you can see where to do embossing. So I thought this would be great that we could work on over the next couple of weeks, because there's 4 tools that aren't featured in any of the books. Okay. I mean, Linda's guiding us through. I mean, look, it's all there, and we can just follow that through. Okay. Picking up these tips and tricks from Linda. Okay. So this one, I mean, look at this corner. This is lovely, and this is using the semi-star tool. Okay. So you've got all these pages, then other options as well, different places to emboss. So just like the book. Okay. Now, in addition to that, so you've got this one here for the semi-star, and then you've got another project set. So where Linda's given you a complete pattern, she's telling you it's the Pico square dies, if you wanted to cut it out, giving you the embossing pattern, what you'll need, and then she takes us through step by step. Additional plates are optional, but I thought this would be lovely to work through because there's 4 tools that we haven't even touched on. So these are available. Sue's popped the link up to the Pergamano website. So we've then got the drop tool. I love this one. Okay, 3 and 4. Then we have the butterfly tool, just like so. Okay, and then finally we have the wave tool. So there's 4 lovely tools that we can get to grips with that aren't included in any of the books. So I thought if you want to join me, then you just need to download. You don't need to download all of it, just download the pattern, which on each of them, you'll see you'll download the file, and then you can just choose what you want to print off. So this is your pattern sheet. So page 2, okay. And then this has all been enlarged just to show the detail. And I thought we could work on these. If you're looking for the tools, maybe you haven't got any of those 4 tools, then Sue's popped the link up to the Clarity website where you can take advantage of those, or just search on the Clarity website tool focus, and it'll bring up the 4 tools in question if you're not sure whether you've got them or not. But I thought that'd be a really nice way just to carry on this journey, because I know many of you have really enjoyed working with the multi-needle tools and exploring different areas. And so thank you to Sherry Levy for reminding me of that, because it was such a long time ago, and often stuff gets pushed back and back and back and we forget about it. So that's what we'll be looking at over the next couple of weeks. So if you want to join me, then I'll be back with you on Tuesday for Groovi Tuesday. Don't forget the upcoming TV shows: Thursday, 3 o'clock, 4 o'clock, 7 o'clock, 8 o'clock. Then on Friday morning, 8 a.m, 9 a.m, and 1 p.m. Then Barb's back in the shack with you at 10 on Monday. I'm back with you for Groovi Tuesday on Tuesday. And then we've got a brand new session of the Shack on Thursday evening at 7 p.m. So if you go over to, Sue's going to pop the link up for you, Karen, so you can download these patterns from the Pergamano website. So, and if not, she can drop you an email with that link in. So as always, thank you to the lovely design team, to Sue, to everyone for joining me. Enjoy the rest of your week, and I'll see you all next week. Take care now. Bye-bye. Oh, wrong button.